Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm on my second video of the day. I recorded a solve of a cryptic crossword earlier. I'm now going to take a look at a diagonal Sudoku. So diagonal Sudoku, it's very similar to normal Sudoku, except that we also need to include the numbers from 1 to 9 in each of the main diagonals. Now this can lead to some quite interesting logic, and I've managed to find this puzzle from the World Sudoku Grand Prix, which is a monthly online competition of a very high standard. So each month a different country takes the responsibility for creating the puzzles. And this puzzle that I'm going to be doing is from February, which was Poland. So Poland produced the set of exams. Now I will include a link to the puzzles in the chat or in the comments or in the description of the video, so that you guys can have a go. I really recommend having a go. Actually, you'll see these puzzles are all handcrafted, so they're beautifully designed by some extremely good setters and solvers. And you'll also be interested to know probably that if you actually look at the whole of one of these exams and think about how quickly you could solve all of the puzzles in it, and if I tell you that the world's best will get them all done in just over an hour, you'll probably fall off your chairs, because it is quite staggering, the standard at the top level now of Sudoku solving. So little old me, what I have to make do with is my uber logical approach and my somewhat slower brain, and hopefully that will be enough to get this puzzle done. But I think, just to give you an idea, I don't know how long it's going to take us to do, these puzzles aren't meant to be monstrously hard. These aren't meant to be quite as difficult as some of the very hard diabolical puzzles we've solved on the channel, but they intend to have a bit of a sting to them. But the world's best solvers would be getting them done in 3 or 4 minutes. So anyone out there who's getting them done in that sort of time, let us know, because you should probably be in your national team. Now, I'm also excited today because I'm going to be solving with a new interface. So this has been created by one of our viewers, also a very fine Sudoku solver, Sam. So thank you very much, Sam, for creating this for us. I think it looks great, and I'm learning how to use it, so hopefully I won't mess up too badly. Without further ado, let's have a look at how to do a diagonal Sudoku. Now, my first tip with diagonal Sudoku is not to look at the given numbers in the diagonals. I look at the numbers that aren't yet in the diagonals. So it's always where I start. So what I'm looking for is 9s, for example. These two 9s are interesting because they affect this diagonal in quite a material way. I know I need to put a 9 on this diagonal, and I can't put one here, and I can't put one here. So there's got to be one in one of these two positions, and there's a 9 there, look. So that means this square is a 9. And that means I can pencil mark. Oh, hang on, how do I do this? I need to press that one. Now it'll let me do that. 9's in one of these two positions. Now we can do the same thing again on this diagonal. So we know that the 9 is not on the diagonal in this block, and it's not on the diagonal in this block, and there's a 9 here. So there's a 9 in one of these two places. And okay. Now I probably look, it's quite an interesting puzzle. Obviously there's a P and an L in the grid at the outset for Poland, which is lovely, but there's also, if we just think about the puzzle quickly, before we go any further with the solve, there is an absolute dearth of information over here on the right hand side. There's only 3 digits on the right hand side of this grid. So it seems to me to be quite unlikely I'm going to be able to fill much in here without using the diagonals, because even if I was to restrict this or this square to one of 3 digits, which is the best I'll do looking at the row, I'll be able to eliminate one of those digits using the 9, but I'll still be left with a pair here. So I'm going to need these diagonals to in some way break into the right hand side of this grid, and that in and of itself might be an interesting observation. So what do we need? In column 1, I need 7 and 8 to complete these two. Well, you can see immediately that's going to be useful because we have a 7 there. So this is an 8, and this is a 7. And now we can see with the 7, 7, 7, and this 7 here, this square is going to be a 7. Therefore, this square is going to be a 7. And completing this column, we need a 6. So there's a 6 there. The other interesting thing is there's no, in fact this 7 interacts on this block, there's no attempt by the constructor to hide what's going on here. You know, this was all completely trivial, finding this 8, 7, this 7, 6, this 7 and this 7. So I suspect that there's going to be some trick we're going to have to do in these diagonal bits here, which is going to be why this puzzle has been created in this way. This is, I love this sort of thing. It shows such a lot of intelligence on an invention on the part of the Sudoku setter. Now this 8 locks an 8 into one of these two squares, like this, which gives us an 8 here. So again, just a given digit, just immediately flies off the bat. This 2 and this 2, look, that gives us a 2 there. This 7 now operates in the same way. Yeah, there's going to be something very nice in a minute, I bet. So 5 and 6 pair now to complete this block. So that resolves the 3 and the 6 at the top. And what can we do? Let's have a look down here. We must need 1 and 4 to complete. So this is a 1 or a 4 on this diagonal. Can't resolve that yet. There's nothing on this diagonal that's going to tell us which way around that goes. And then what's that? 3, 5 and 8 down here. So this square is, you can see an 8 and a 5 in this square, the 8 being on the diagonal, so that's a 3. Therefore the 8 must be here and this must be a 5. 3, 5, 8. 3, 3. There can't be a 3 here anymore because that's on the diagonal, so the 3's, oh, 3's, no, sorry, pressing anything, 3's like that. Now let's have a look at the central column now. So we need 1, 5, and so this is a 5 or a 6. You know there's a 1 in one of those two cells. 5, 6. So this must be a 5 now, because we need to place a 5 somewhere in this block. If there's a 5 in one of these three positions, the 5 must go here. So 4, 8, 9. Now look, they're all offset. So, done it again. 4's like that, and 9's like this. 4, 8, 9, 1, 5, 6. I still need a 2 and a 3, so that's got to be that way round. 3, 3, and 1, 4, 9 here. So again, this is a so that's, yeah, 1 or 4 here. So you can see, as predicted, we've done nothing on the right hand side, even though everything we've done on the left hand side has been completely straightforward. So I'm now going to look at these diagonals. So down this diagonal we still need a 1, a 5 and a 6. So this is a 1 or 6, and this is a 1 or a 5. And on the other diagonal I need 1, 4, 5, 6 and 9. So this one is a 4 or a 6. This one is a 5 or a 9. And this one is anything. So how do we get into this side of the grid? I see. This is lovely. Okay, gorgeous. Okay, see if you can see it. I tell you, it involves the diagonals. We can now, let me just study for a sec. I think it's true to say we can fill in both diagonals now without entering in another number. So have a think, pause the video if you need to see how to do that. And the critical thing is this diagonal. And we have to ask ourselves where a 6 can go. Now, a 6 can obviously go in one of two positions. It can't go down here. So, in this situation, we've seen it a lot in our classic Sudoku videos. Normally, we'd be able to point at this square and say, okay, well, this square could not possibly contain a 6, because there's either a 6 here or a 6 here, so the 6 will be impossible in this square. But in a diagonal Sudoku, we can go further than that, because actually, it's not just this square that sees both this square and this square. It's also this square. This square can never contain a 6 because it sees this square on the diagonal and this square. So if this is a 6, obviously this can't be a 6. If this is a 6, this still can't be a 6 because it's on the diagonal. So this is the 4, and that is the trick. I'm sure that we'll break this puzzle open. Ah, why's that not working? 4, there we go. Now 8, 9 like this. This was a 5, 9 pair, so this is a 5. That means this central square is a 6. And this one, 4, can only be a 1 now, which means this is a 4. And this must be 4, 9 in some order. And we need 1, 9 to complete this column. 2, 3, this is a 9 now. This is 1, 2. This is 7, 8. Complete this row, which means this is 3, 6, like that. Now this 6 also unwinds the rest of this diagonal, so that's a 1 and that's a 5. Yeah, and you can see the puzzle's now finished, I think. 9, 4. And what I'd be interested to know is, for those of you who did try this puzzle before you watched the video, and if any of you didn't see how to resolve this square, how difficult was the puzzle? Please let us know in the comments. Was it monstrously hard to finish? Because my suspicion is that if you don't notice how to resolve that, you can't really do the puzzle at all, because it's, as I say, I don't think there's a way of breaking into the right-hand side of this grid, which is, it's so cool. It really is. So now, are we nearly there? I think we are. This must be a 9, just by normal Sudoku rules. I need 2, 3, and 5 along here. So this is a 5, this is a 2, this is a 3. That resolves the 3 and the 6, resolves the 6 and the 8, resolves the 8 and the 7. And this must be a 7, I think. 1, 5, 6 here. So this is 1, 1, 5. 5, 6, and if everything's worked out well, I'm looking for 4, 6, and 8 along here. 4, 8, 6. There we go. Fantastic. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that was interesting. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. And we'll be back soon with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.